Hello and welcome to the Local Music Revolution. I am your host, Ogre. On this episode, I talk to Geoff Thurman. A little bit of backstory before we get started about this. When I first started the Facebook for the Local Music Revolution, I started promoting, and almost immediately I started getting likes from people I didn't know. Partially because I posted in Facebook groups, but also because, it's just an idea that people have either hated or loved, and most part, everybody's loved it, which is awesome. So, Geoff likes the Facebook page, and almost immediately after I look at that, I get a message on the Facebook page from Geoff asking as politely as I can see him asking if he needed to do anything to get onto the show. Okay, firstly, that right there, I feel is something that I need to show my respect and admiration for, because he put stock into my idea before it was ever fully an idea. And he just jumped at the opportunity to talk to me, and I thank you, Geoff. It was a blast to talk to you, and you really, just in that action alone, you really helped me push forward and continue to get to where I'm at now. So I agree, and we talk. My process before talking is doing research so that I know what the band is about and everything like that. So I look up Geoff Thurman, and the funniest part is the name of his band is very interesting. So I looked it up, and I found that he has extra players, not just your standard drums, guitar, bass, vocals. He has extra players in his band, and he goes through that with the group lineup in the beginning of this podcast. But it's very interesting because the music he plays, he has extra players, extra instruments, and he can add extra textures to the music you are listening to. That is awesome because it just gives something different. And I really, really like actually hearing the songs that he's sent me that you'll hear later on in the show. It's very, very nice and very, very interesting genre that he plays in. I've always been respectful of the genres that people are in, but he has something about this band that's really, really fun. And I really want to see his album and his DVD when they come to fruition, because it sounds like it's going to be amazing. So that's the story of how Geoff and I got into contact. So we talk about the name of his band. We also get into the name of his publishing company, the fact that he might have been on the soundtrack to one of Patrick Swayze's last movies, had Patrick Swayze not passed away. And we talk about his new CD and live DVD, how that came about, how awesome people involved made that happen. And we just talk music for a little while. So, let there be music. All right, we're here with Geoff Thurman from the Geoff Thurman Band. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, Andrew. How you doing today?
I'm doing. That's the best I can say right now.
I hear you.
All right, so let's get into this real fast. I did a little research before contacting you, and I would really like to talk about your band, the Geoff Thurman Band. Who's in it? What do they do? And how did you find them?
Wow. Well, the the makeup now on bass, I've got a genius mad scientist. That's Adam Elmore. He is my bass player. Michael Bonner is our drummer on all saxophones, and a really interesting thing called an iwi is a guy named Tom Wilson.
Okay.
Gavin Torgerson is our brass guy. Leanna Stewart is our string player violinist. Dave Heckman is the normal guitarist, electric guitarist, but he is actually on a cruise in South Africa, really kind of suffering through all that stuff that happens through that. So, we got I would consider a more than adequate stand-in. Jay Rossetti has been with us and just killing it. We got, and then I am the lead vocalist and the acoustic guitarist. So it's kind of a Dave Matthews Band jam band motif, but we do a lot of we do probably, I'm going to say probably 90% original material.
Okay.
Any covers that we do, I guarantee you won't recognize, and we do that by design, because I guess the thing that I love about the creative element is you can take anything and you can make it your own. If everybody does. I don't care who you are. If you're alive, if you're a traveling band, if you're doing anything, you're going to be doing somebody else's material.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've loved over the years is watching bands that do something unique. And so, we flip the script a lot, and so we've got a couple of Michael Jackson things like Billie Jean and Human Nature. We've got a Stevie Wonder thing that's Superstition. We do some Bill Withers and some Al Green and that type of thing. But it don't sound like that when it starts. So we love it that way. Yeah. Those guys are all, with the exception of, I think Jay. No, I know that's not right. Tom is from Berkeley School of Music, and I believe everybody else has either gone through or is in the process of going through Fresno State.
Nice.
So I got some kick-ass musicians, and how it all started was actually not with this present group. It was another group of folks. There was a fellow by the name of Steve Lopez, cool drummer from in town, who had heard a lot of my stuff and kind of messaged me on Facebook and said, let's get together and have a chat and see what kind of develops out of this stuff. And we put some people together, and just how bands kind of go through some stuff that changes and personnel changes, and life happens and people have other things that they have to do. So we have, as an entity, been together since 2012. This particular grouping has been together for almost a year now. And this is actually kind of an odd season, because while everybody else is doing a lot of stuff, just the season and getting gigs and yada, 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 we are actually working on putting the finishing touches on a live project that's called Fresh Takes. Which I think you might get to a couple of those pieces a little bit later on. But it was a live record / DVD that was done, filmed, and recorded at Engelman Cellars back in January over a 3-day period. And what we did was we're putting together like 9 pieces, and we're going to have some interviews and some stories about some of the songs and that type of thing. So it's a little bit like a live show, but not so much at the same time. It's not like directly, this song is and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. We're going to have we're going to have a CD version that's actually got a few more songs, and then the stuff that will not make either one of those rosters is going to go up on YouTube or Vimeo as well. So, a couple of covers, and most other stuff is stuff that we've done ourselves.
All right, so my favorite bit about your project, Fresh Takes, is the fact that it was done in a winery in Fresno.
Yeah.
It must have. Well, a winery is usually elegant and everything, but live music, it didn't always click for me, or it didn't click when I read this. So, can you explain like how you got into the winery and how you talked them into letting you do this?
Man, that was the coolest thing, actually. Now, when this, you got to know one thing about me. First of all, I'm a little demented. I just got to be honest about this. I've been in the business successfully since the 70s, the late 70s.
Nice.
Actually, my first cut was early 80s, like 83, that type of thing. Was on a then Christian artist by the name of Amy Grant, and I've had a lot of stuff that has happened over the years. But I've kind of learned after being with some of the people who saw what I brought to the table, and they taught and they kind of allowed me to think outside the box, and so I've continued that. If there's going to be a way to do something different, I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
You're right. Wineries tend to be very kind of cool and very, nice and easy and, simple stuff, and they don't want to go and do anything. I think Engelman's and Apcal here in the Valley are the only two that kind of break that mold.
Okay.
And we had originally, when I was thinking about this, there's a group that if you check out YouTube, there's a group that's out in New York and New Jersey called Snarky Puppy. They do this type of thing, and basically the idea was to invite a few friends, not a whole major bit, and to film the live production of everybody doing our songs for our friends, that kind of thing. So when we kind of put this together, I'm thinking, we get a big studio, large enough to be able to encompass this thing, and obviously the largest place in town would have been Maximus Media, which is what we were doing. At the time, Geoff Hall, who runs that great organization, was in the hospital, so we couldn't do that.
Okay.
And I had talked to the fellow who is helping Adam and I co-produce and to direct the filming and everything, Mike Levesque. I said, I don't know where else to go because I can't find Geoff, and then I found out he was in the hospital and yada yada yada. And he goes, I got a contact. So let me just kind of work this out and see what I can find out. And I said, okay. So he gave me a call a bit later, and he goes, okay, so I've got a spot for you. And I said, cool, where is it? And he goes, it's Engelman Cellars. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll bite. It's like I haven't played out there yet, but I've been out there, and I'm thinking, nice venue, don't know if we're going to go over, exactly for the same reason you're thinking. It's like, this is a winery, so we're going to have to tone it down a bit. We're definitely not one to be able to tone anything down very much. And he said, don't worry about it. They'll and he told me about some of the groups that have done stuff. There's a Prince tribute band that has done some stuff, and of course some of the other really great bands from the area that Marie Wilson has been there. I know that Foreigner Unauthorized has done some stuff, and a ton of the other groups have done. So it's like they will rock it out.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's awesome. And at the time, what they want, they had actually gotten a request just before us to do to have a wedding. That's what they do normally. But in order to do this wedding, they had to do a whole lot of just really massive remodeling and everything. And so the idea that they had in their mind is, let's go ahead and try this, and we can see how the acoustics and how the whole feel of it works out. Let Geoff go ahead and do the thing there, and just kind of use it as an experiment. And I'm thinking, cool. I'm happy to be a guinea pig. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
And the thing is, because at that point I'm thinking budget, because realistically you're looking at something like this is going to cost you, like if I'm back in my old hometown of Nashville, or if we're trying to do it in LA or San Francisco or something, it's going to be $50,000 to $100,000 to put this together. And I'm thinking, crap, I haven't got that kind of money. I don't know how I can be able to put that thing together. And I'm thinking to myself, if we can do some sort of a shoestring budget of like $10,000, we can probably might be able to make this work.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, that's great. And so how much do they want for the use of their place? And Mike said to me, no, they're just going to let you use it for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I just lost my mind. Are you kidding me? And so, and I got to tell you, Brett and Elena they are fabulous people, fabulous friends, and just great folks to be around. And they're willing to try anything. They are really very friendly to the music community in the area and stuff. So
yeah. I
was grateful to do that. And they just, it's kind of basically, this is what we think we need. And they went, okay. And we did it. And so obviously we were able to bring more people in instead of just, 10, 15, or 20, because we were thinking about how we're going to get all of this stuff into a room and get, crowd. We ended up with a lot more space, ergo more folks to come. So it was the best of both worlds, best of both visions, because we ended up with a lot of folks, and we got to still play for our friends and to do the videoing and everything. Akira Productions, Derek and Elizabeth Akira were just they're videographers that are just beasts. They're inhuman the way that their minds work with this stuff. So I guarantee you that when you see the DVD, you're gonna know because I'm telling you it was done cheaply. But when you see it, you won't get that. It'll just be this phenomenal thing. I'm shaking my head every time I look at it.
So you also were talking about having a Kickstarter for this album.
We did a GoFundMe, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we're actually still we did it in phases. So I'll go ahead and give you the website now. It's www.GeoffThurman-BAND. So Geoff-Thurman-Band.
Okay.
We've raised just shy of $3,800, and that paid for the not the studio time, but basically paid for the staff, the crew. So Mike and Wizard Productions, Wizard Sound, and Derek and Akira Productions. That's where all of that money came. Now we are trying to raise the next phase of it, which is we're looking at about $2,000 to get initial manufacturing. So we're looking at probably, like, if we can get about 500 to 1,000 CDs and 500 to 1,000 DVDs, then that'll be what we're trying to do now. And we have reward areas, but basically at this point in time, it's just pre-order the album, because the album's going to be $20 and stuff.
All right, so the CD and the DVD, do you have them as set? Are they individual? Is there an option to buy both of them?
You can buy both of them if you want. It's an individual. The only thing is that the CD will have a few more pieces of music than the DVD. The DVD's long, and the reason the DVD is long is because we'll have these interviews. We'll have some conversations between us as band members, and I'll have you some stories that will be there as well. So we're thinking that the DVD is going to be, while it's less music, it'll be longer, like probably close to 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
But the CD will have, I'm guessing, maybe like 12, 13 sides to it.
Oh, nice.
So you can buy both if you want. And there's also we have a Geoff Thurman, the GTB T-shirt that you can get at the website, or you can get them at our gigs too. So.
All right. So can you tell me about the song "Shadow of a Man"?
Yeah, "Shadow of a Man" was actually a piece that was supposed to be for a movie that never happened, because the main actor took a turn for the worse, and actually passed on. Did Dirty Dancing. I can't think of his...
Patrick Swayze?
Patrick Swayze, yes. Sorry, that was a brain fart on my part. Apologize.
No
but
worries.
they were casting Patrick for the lead line in this thing, and it was a movie that was about a young man who basically was set back in Western ages, and he got in trouble with the law, and his dad came and bailed him out. Dad was kind of a hard ass person.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and but he, mended his ways, found out where he got it, and so his thing was the idea of the movie was he and his son were fighting the demons that they were fighting, and they became friends. They became the father and son that they wanted to be.
Nice.
All of those things. There was a lot of that kind of stuff. So "Shadow of a Man" was the story, if you will, of that was supposed to be in that. It was written by myself and a good friend from 20 plus years, 30 years, almost 30 years, named Dave Rose.
All right, well, here is "Shadow of a Man."
You were 6 years old, went up the bridge behind me. Sun so hot and bright, the rays would burn the night. Then you reached out for my hand, looking for a cool place in the sand, standing in the shadow of a man. You were standing in the shadow of a man. You were 17, learning to live without me. That rage wore you like skin, held them till you win. You found no way of escape, and every bit of shame and shape decay. You were standing in the shadow of a man. You were standing in the shadow of a man. On one side you feel shelter, the other you feel pain. And in between that love and hate is the strength to set the stage. You broke out of the rain. You can run free, scream out loud. Know that I will be forever proud. Now I'm standing in the shadow of a man. Yes, Lord, I'm standing in the shadow of a man. Hey! On one side you feel shelter, the other you feel pain. In between that love and hate is the strength to keep you safe. You've been standing in the shadow of a man. Standing in the shadow of a man. We're standing in the shadow of a man. Thank you so very much.
That was Shadow of the Man. So, Jeff, I gotta ask, man. It's a really cocky move, but you named your band after you. What's up with that? I've gotta understand this, man, because I don't.
Oh my goodness. It actually wasn't a cocky move. I tell you the truth. I can't lie. I actually, because I've got a great deal of followers back east and across the pond, and so what I did was email and to message on Facebook and Twitter a bunch of my followers and a bunch of my friends and family, and I said, look, this band is starting, and this is a thing that's going on, and I want to find a name, and I can't think of anything that's really kind of hooky and says who we are and da 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 da. So I'm really open to suggestions, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and I got a couple of ones that were, Andrew, I love my people, but these band names just sucked. They, I read these things, and it's like, if I do that, the next thing I'm going to do is put a gun to the side of my head. I just will not. So, and so at the end of the day, it's like I was talking with my bride Lisa about this, and she's like, why not just Geoff Thurman Band? And it's like, okay. So it was like, okay, fine. So there's the creativity. There's the creativity of a songwriter from 40 years. He can't do anything except call it by his own name. Okay, that works with me. I can whatever. So that's where we came up.
Hey man, if you're awesome enough to use your own name as a band name, then I have utmost respect for you. I'm sorry, I can't.
Ain't no awesomeness here, dog. I'm going to be right up on that one. Ain't no awesomeness here. That's just like, that was a pull it out of your ass moment. That was exactly what it was.
Oh man, it's a good story though. It's very interesting. All right, so
oh gosh, if I could remember half of those names or something, I know I probably have them somewhere burnt down someplace. But it's like, if I could ever remember some of them, oh my lord, some of these people, like, you cannot be serious. Like I felt like I was going to have to channel John McEnroe or something. Are you serious? Can I do that?
So awesome, man. So awesome. All right, so you said previously that you guys had more than one CD. Is this Fresh Cuts? Is it going to be like the debut of the newer incantation, the newer version of the band?
Yeah, Fresh Takes itself is the actually the first the debut of what is the Geoff Thurman band. As a band itself, we have never done anything like this. The reason that I wanted to do it was because these guys, I mean, when my wife and I moved here from Nashville in 2011,
Okay.
and Andrew, have just been knocked out by the number of the talent level, the number of musicians, and beyond music, just artists in general, the visual arts and screen and producers and all these that are here in the Valley, Fresno and Clovis and Madera and all that, the Visalia, everywhere in this area is just beaming with talent. And and on some level it makes sense. It's California, but people know LA and they know the Bay. They don't know what's going on in the Valley. The only thing that the Valley is known for is either agriculture, the drought, or something. And it's like, there is so much more that's going on here, and it's like you think about it, it's perfect because it's central. You're what? You're 5 hours from Vegas. You're 4 hours from LA. You're about 4 hours from San Francisco. So it would track that here in the midst of this hotbed of entertainment, that you've got this little kind of sleepy little thing that has all of this talent. And so for me, I wanted the people that know me that aren't here, in overseas and in the East and in the West, in the Southwest, in the central part of the country and all that, to know these people, and when I've not had a bad player in Geoff Thurman band. I just haven't. They're everybody who has been a part of this thing from the get has just been phenomenal. And when somebody has had to change, or when there's had to been a decision to make a change or whatever it was, we didn't have to go far. We didn't have to look. We didn't have to audition folks. It wasn't anything like that. It was like, Adam, who's usually the go-to in terms of finding, because he knows everybody in town. He'll got a thought, and somebody will come and just kind of jam with him, and it's like, yeah, sick. Are you kidding? And so really the only question, as it is with any band, is always the chemistry. Is it a bunch of guys that are going to get together? Are they going to be all right? Is it going to be a dysfunctional thing, or is it going to work? And we've been very grateful because we've had just kind of a family atmosphere. It's a lot of respect and a lot of honor given person to person. So it's not like you don't have a lot of that ego crap that happens in a lot of places. So I've been very grateful with that. And I wanted people to know that. I wanted people to see that go down, which is why I felt like the DVD was most important, because it's like you can hear it all day long if you want to, but you got to see the thing in order to have it. So that's why I wanted to do the visual side of it too.
So you came from Nashville, which it's predominantly like country and southern rock kind of music scene and everything. So firstly, like, if you can get into it, what made you come all the way to the Central Valley of California?
Well, it wasn't music, not at all. I mean, let's be honest. While there's all kinds of stuff that's going down in Fresno, you don't come to Fresno to get discovered. That one is not a no-brainer there. My wife and I was in music, and then I kind of stopped. I wanted to focus on really kind of trying to save a marriage and being a good dad. And my daughter was expecting, so trying to be a good father and good grandfather and all those things. And so I didn't put music down, but it took a back seat so that I could stay home and all those things. And a lot of my history in Nashville was either through with the connections to Glenn Campbell and Ricky Skaggs, was either the country thing, or early on when I started, I was actually signed to a company as a contemporary Christian writer.
Oh, okay.
I was signed on with a company called Meadowgreen. It was part of a company that was called the Tree International. Buddy Killen, who was Hank Williams' bass player, way back in. Yeah. So, when I had these are the kind of people that I had teaching me how to write and how to kind of navigate the music business and everything. But by the time 2000 came along, it was like I thought, I'm done. Nobody's interested in what I'm doing anymore, and so I tried to find a work in the regular work for normal people. And in I guess the easiest transition from being in the Christian thing was to work in the church, and so I started working as a music director in a church. A lot of crap happened, which I really don't need to get into now, but it basically kind of led to the end of the marriage, and I then got a second chance, got married, and we were through some circumstances, we found ourselves with my wife Lisa fighting cancer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, breast cancer, and it was stage 3, so it was pretty serious. And she was, at the time when we met and when we had been married, we were both working for a cell company in the call center. So we were the people that were in the call center when someone would call and say, "I don't like my bill. Why'd you give me this little toy?" That kind of thing. You used to talk to somebody like us. And just the demands of the job, because of what she was doing, she couldn't do that anymore. It was just going to be too much processing, too much stuff, that type of thing. So we went through the surgeries, went through all the chemo and the radiation and everything, and I don't know if only people who go through cancer know how difficult that is. You can kind of hear it on the outside, and you know that it's tough, but trust me. And I mean, from my own standpoint, because I buried 4 people before this, who have dealt with various types of cancer, but I had never been that person on the front line caring for a family member. Usually I was like either second or third, and I can help and that type of thing, or maybe it was an uncle someplace other part of the country, and I could be there for at some point in time, but didn't have to just kind of go through it all the time.
Yeah.
With Lisa, we just saw it was just going to be too much to do. We went through, and she came out on the other end of the point where, after it's all said and done, the doctor said, "Well, we think we got everything," and that's kind of the only thing you know about cancer. Yeah. After surgeries and after everything is over, the only thing you can hope after the surgeries and after they've gotten what they call clean catches, where it's like there's nothing they think might be left over, and radiation and chemo basically being either nuclear or chemical poisons that would kill, 17 rhinoceros, are all induced in your body to basically kill what you think might still be there, but you don't know because you can't see it.
Yeah.
So after all of that stuff was done, and we came out, and I just said, "Look, you have your second chance here. We dodged a hell of a bullet, and I've lived my life. I've done, I've been overseas, and I've been awarded, and I've been on a bunch of million records, and da-da-da-da-da. Got to produce some people and shake the hands of folks, and do more than 90% of the people my age. So if I died tomorrow, I'm a happy man. You've never had that chance. So what is it that you want to be now? What is it that is your dream that has been unfulfilled? And she thought about it, and she wanted to get into birth education. And what she does now is a thing that's called a doula.
Okay.
A doula is like a birth coach. And so it's kind of like a midwife for moms is what I use in terms of describing it. So she went through the training, and the training for her was kind of like, no duh, because without knowing that she wanted to be a doula, she had kind of been a doula for 25 some odd years.
Okay.
She had been helping people because of her extensive knowledge of the anatomy and the birth process and all of that stuff. She had already been doing this for many, many years and had been finally certified to do so. Well, in Tennessee and in the South, pretty traditional, pretty they don't see a whole lot of stuff that's kind of outside the box there. So the doula, it's like, yep, that sounds good. Don't know what that is, but when Bertha gets pregnant, we're gonna go to the doctor. And so we wanted to try to find a place where it would be beneficial for her to do it.
Okay.
And here there's in the West there are two areas where the, for lack of a better term, doula industry, or the birth coach industry is really blowing up, and that's Colorado, and that's also kind of the central and the Bay Area, California. It's
really?
all over California, but really crazy here and really crazy in San Francisco. So, and here, a lot of the reason that is because of the, surprisingly, but it's because of the presence of so many of the substance abuse clinics and substance abuse homes that are here in this area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. So that really actually worked for Lisa's heart, because not only can she be available for people who can pay for services, but she can also be available for people who can't. Because one of the things with the organization that she is certified with is that you commit to making sure that every mother, whether they can afford the services or not, can get a doula, can be available for a doula. And so she's actually, done some where folks have been able to pay, and she's done a number of them where people have said, I don't have it. And she's like, okay, it doesn't matter. You need help, and if you're interested, then I'd like to help you. And so it's Andrew, as a player, any musician knows, when you go, you do your thing. It's like lifting. So you get done with it. I don't care if it's a 45-minute set or if you do a 4-hour night. You get done. Your body is tired. Yeah. And it's just like weightlifting. You finish it. Now, imagine, and trust me, I've seen this. She gets a call. Usually the call happens about 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And so she's gone. Well, I mean, that's birth. It's I don't know what it is, but babies go, all right, it's time. And when it's time, it's like the call. That typically happens in the late night. And so I've seen the call happen as early as 10 at night. I've seen it happen anywhere between 1 and 2. And she gets the call, and it's kind of like she's gone, and then the adrenaline is gone. And then from that moment, it's like just wait, and they go through a whole bunch of exercises. The whole idea with being a doula is that you do things trying to avoid the use of medicine, of medical intervention, but especially of injections and all those kinds of things.
Okay.
Because a woman's body is tough, and so a woman's body, if you just kind of let those natural endorphins happen, can handle the pain.
Yeah.
As men, we would be blubbering idiots at the first sign of some of that stuff. And I've seen some of these moms go, "Bring it! I don't care! Bring it!" That's what they do. And it's funny because that's what Lisa teaches them. And so like the last one, the longest one that I know she started, the laboring process for this mom was like something like 47 hours.
Jeez.
So
That's
and
brutal.
Lisa was there for 47 hours straight. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm texting, and I'm, what in the world are you? And I'm thinking, we're going to have to do something. And she got back in the car and said, yeah, no, it was great. Da-da-da, talked about it. I got her home, and she crashed for 2 days. She was gone. Because and it's the same thing. It's like your body is like, okay, now the adrenaline is gone. Now everything is finished. Now you're going to take care of me. And I mean, literally, it's like a Tuesday morning at 5 in the morning. I brought home donuts, and I got all kinds of breakfast stuff ready for her. And she had something, and she said, I'm just going to take a bath and, just kind of get settled down. 5 minutes later, she's in the bath just thinking unconscious to get her into the bed. Literally, dude, from that point on time, like for about the next 36 hours, it was like, okay, I'm getting up, I'm fine. Went to the bathroom, she got something to eat, she got her meds or something like that, and she crashed for the rest of it. And then for about 36 hours later, she went, okay, I'm fine, I'm okay. And that's how this goes for her.
Nice.
But that's why we came here, really, to give her a shot at seeing her dreams fulfilled. And she helps me be the musician and pushes me to be the musician that I am. And I try to do what I can to help her achieve what she wants to do. So
awesome,
that's why
man.
Fresno. And so grateful, man, because I love Fresno. We love the people. I can tell you that probably everybody is any kind of artist thing that's like they want to go to L.A. I can't live in L.A. I love L.A. to visit, but too many weird people, right? And
yeah, no, not L.A.
And there's strange folks. Love San Francisco, love the Bay Area, but too many crazy people in the Bay Area. So we dig the people, we dig the environment. It's great. We love these folks.
All right, man. Well, let me stop you there. Can you tell me about the Color of Sound real fast so we can get that?
Oh man, Color of Sound. It was a co-write with. Spent a time living in Chicago and met a guy, and actually his former mother-in-law was the co-writers on this thing. Leslie Bowe and Nancy Vogel, and he had a song that he wanted to try to do called The Color of Sound, and it was like the only thing he had was this is how I feel, and the color of sound, and so we had that thing to work with. He had been holding on to that for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years, and
wow.
Didn't know what to do with it. So we just kind of played with it, and the song itself had morphed into what it is now. We actually did it. We wrote the song in 2007, and we thought that he was going to take off as an artist, and it just never did. So I wanted to. It's been a song that we've enjoyed playing as a band. And the thing about this, because this is a long one. This is actually a combination of 2 songs, because there's another song called Imagine on the back end of that one that we incorporate both of those, and in between is a bass solo. Adam Elmore gets crazy, and then after that, Michael Bonner, who just I joke about the man has 6 feet and 3.5 arms, and you'll understand why when you hear it.
All right, man. All right. This is The Color of Sound.
See a major shift in the masses. Most folk are wearing rose-colored glasses. What about the raising of taxes? Choose to be consumed over what the price of gas is. I wanna look at real life. People die living under city street light. Nothing left to do but shout, beating on each other till the red blood runs out. This is how I feel. Please nation. What we need is better education. Boys and girls can build a bright tomorrow. Be the light after all the sorrow. Peace inside, souls collide. Hate dies, give up the fight. Living as it is ain't right. No, we can't, though the mighty winds blow cold. Got to beat the hope before it slips away black as cool. This is how I feel. Bleeding from the bottom of my heart. Something real you cannot conceal. Oh, to the young, gotta make it a priority. Gotta set them free. Yellow to gray, night to the day. All I can say, find us some way, making it all okay. This is how I feel. Yeah. Beating from the bottom of my heart. Something real you cannot conceive. Color of sound. This is how I feel. Bleeding from the bottom of my heart. Something real. Let your soul reveal. Color of sound. The color of sound. That's Adam Elmore, y'all. That there is Michael Bonner. Imagine you, imagine me, walking by the water silently. Think of all the possibilities. Oh no. Say the word, make you cry. When I see that glimmer in your eye, moving and my soul begins to fly. We couldn't go to the park holding hands in the dark. I'd get so excited. I'd take hold in your hand like the lover I am. Tell me, baby, can we just imagine? Can we just imagine? Imagine us, imagine this. Turn around and steal a little kiss. Moment that I know I'd never miss. No, 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 no. Brush my hand across your face, surrounded by the air of your embrace. Movie in my mind just can't erase. No, no, as I'm walking away at the end of the day, filled with every memory. Feel you touch me once more, pulling me from the door. Tell me, baby, can we just imagine? I can't believe I get this chance with you. Moving makes me wanna dance with you, singing all my dreams come true. Imagine day turns to night. You and I together feel so right. When all I wanna do is hold you tight. emotions that can make a weak man strong. Maybe, maybe, maybe we could go to the park one-on-one in the dark. I'd get so excited, I'd take hold of your hand like the lover I am. Tell me, baby, can we just tell you that I'm walking away at the end of the day, filled with every memory. Feel you touch me once more, pulling me from the door. Tell me, baby, can we just can we just imagine? Can we just imagine it now? Can we just imagine? Yeah. Can we just imagine? Can we just imagine?
That was The Color of Sound. So, Geoff, before we get started into the next discussion, I need to ask you a personal favor.
Sure.
Okay, next time you see your wife, I need you to give her a high five or a fist bump or something like that. Tell her she is awesome. Okay, can you do that for me?
All right.
All right.
I'm walking out of the office. I'm walking over to her, who is at the moment eating chicken pot pie at her, and I'm going to get her to look. I just gave her a high five.
All right.
She's looking
Awesome.
at me and saying, "What the hell?"
All right, so the reason I need you to do that is because both my mother and father had cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. My grandfather died from a rare brain disease. My uncle died from brain tumors and AIDS. Basically, I've seen it all, and to
Sure
be
you have.
completely honest, it takes. I don't think I can be that kind of person to survive cancer. It takes an extremely strong will, but not the one I have. Obviously,
You know, and you're right on there. Not everybody would be able to handle this.
yeah.
You are right on there.
Obviously, you know, I've never had to deal with it personally, but I've had to deal with people that had it. Anybody that's had it and survived and is still kicking ass, completely commendable. I respect the hell out of them. I cannot say enough good things about them because they are somebody I strive to be every single day, and I fall short every single day.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
your wife is amazing, and I had to do that. It's precedent, you know. I just out of respect. So thank you very much for doing that for me.
Thank you. And I will definitely pass along all of that. Yeah, she's. I have two heroes in my life, and I am very happy to say that one of them is my beautiful bride Lisa, and the other one is my daughter Naomi.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, man.
I listen. The old Southern phrase is "stick a fork in me" because I'm done. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
See these guys. I wish I could be like them when I grow up. So I definitely know what you're talking about.
I'm right there with you, man. All right, so back to the music talk. Thank you for getting a little personal.
You got it.
I just had to do that, so thank you very much for entertaining me for that.
Absolutely.
All right. So on your website and on your Facebook, it says that you were featured on Great Day, which is the morning show for KMPH Fox 26 out of Fresno, California.
Sure.
Can you talk about how you got on there? And maybe some behind the scenes. Was it easygoing? Did you have to jump through hoops? Just what craziness ensued when you were on there?
I really didn't have to jump through a whole lot of hoops. When the band first kind of started, I remember the first time that we did it. It was actually in advance of our official first Geoff Thurman band gig, which I believe at the time was down at the Fulton 55. And the second time, there was a good friend that actually lives down in Riverside. That was from back in the day, from the contemporary Christian days. Brian Duncan was doing a show at Tower Theater here with members of the band Foreigner Unauthorized that were going to be part of his backup band.
Okay.
And so in both those things there was. I want to say, and again, I'm one of these guys. It's the old joke about I never studied law. So you never really can't tell me that there's something that I can't do, because I'm too ignorant to realize that I can't do that. And so I believe, the first time I had seen the thing, I'd seen the Great Day show, and I'd seen that they'd had some music acts on their Friday. I can't think what they call it, the Friday festival bit, but I emailed the station, and I didn't expect to get a response back at all, but it was kind of sure. Let's see what you do, and it was, and the guy who is the producer of the musical segments there, Chris Friesen, heck of a dude, does all he can to try to help folks get what they need to do. And the hardest thing is just that you are, depending on how involved your band setup is, you got to be there early enough to make it happen. But
yeah,
typically musicians do not fare well early in the morning. So because you're that kind of a thing. So it's like, I got to play when. I have to get past that one pretty
People
quickly.
are actually alive before 5 a.m.?
I was going, wait, hold it. God's sleeping. You can't tell me anybody else is watching this thing. Stop it.
I know, man. I recently had a job, or actually I just got transferred within my job, and my training for that started at 5 a.m., so I was up at 4.
Oh, good Lord.
I don't even understand how people can live during that time of the morning. It doesn't make any sense.
Let me tell you how long it had been. I when in just before first marriage. Okay, so this is 1982, somewhere around there.
Oh, nice.
I was driving a bus for the Cincinnati Public School System, and I had to be at the lot and everything ready to go, where I actually had to leave the lot at 6 a.m. So in order for me to do that, and the lot was in Cincinnati, it's kind of a large town, so and then the lot was like over on the farthest eastern side of Cincinnati. Well, I lived the exact opposite. It was like there was southeastern where the lot was, and I was over on the northwestern side. So in order for me to get there and get up and feel like I was conscious and could feel anything going through my body at all, I had to get up at 4 in the morning.
Oh, that's...
So that was the last time. That was the very last time that I ever had to be up early enough, outside of trips or something, that I had to be up on any kind of consistent thing and actually have a job. So I can't tell you how grateful I am to be doing something where I don't have to. I can kind of set my own hours. I'm grateful beyond belief.
Yeah, I really want to get to that point. I'm going to be turning 26 this year, and I'm trying to get my life in order, and it's not working out very well. My job continually screws me and all of that nonsense. But one of these days, I swear, I'll grow up enough to have a real person job.
You'll get there.
Yeah,
be awesome.
hopefully. So back to the whole music thing. I'm looking at your website, and the copyright is for "Jew Want Fries with That" music. Can you please explain that to me? That is an amazing
wow.
name.
Okay, yeah, sure. No, now here's the thing. Back when in the 90s, this would have been the second major publishing company that I was with. I had left the end of the second term. I'd signed like 2 deals, and so I had gone through my second deal with the Metagreen Group, and I kind of was getting to where I wanted to kind of venture out and see some other stuff, and had stumbled onto a record that was being done. My publisher had let me know about where the guy had heard my stuff and was kind of ventures of how do I get a hold of him, and I want to know, and da-da-da-da-da. And so I didn't know this was done, but basically through the publisher I get a phone call and get a connect through Glenn Campbell.
Okay.
And he had done a number of it was Glenn Campbell. I'm like, I've grown up. I'm 8 years old, and I'm watching. Hey there, this is Glenn Campbell. I'm watching the whole Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour that whole bit. And he wanted to do a song of mine, and then he liked that so much that he's going, "What else you got?" And so I would play things, and he would actually cut stuff that was supposed to have been cut on this particular record to make room for it. I'm like, dude, you don't. Okay, here's the thing. I thank you for all of the love and everything, but these are my friends, and the last thing I want to do is go piss off some of these folks. So we got heavy it's a healthy competition in Nashville at the time, and so it's like I don't want to step on anybody else's slot. So we'll just let's hold this one for another time and that kind of thing. And we got to talking about the fact that I was at the end of my contract, and he said that he was actually looking for an experiment where he wanted to see about doing a publishing deal with the present company that was doing his gospel stuff, where basically they would have owned what happened was they owned my Christian material and he owned my non-Christian material, the pop stuff or the country stuff or any of those things. And so it had never been done before, wanted to see if it was going to work and that kind of thing. And so he said, "Do you want to try it?" And I said, "Sure, why not? We'll give it a shot, see what happens." So we signed a deal, certain number of songs per year, and I got paid, pretty good. And then, same thing in terms of regular publishing contracts where, you get paid, and then you get a draw, and the royalties and the residuals go against the draw, and then after you get to a plus margin, then the writer gets to keep everything else, and that's what happened. So I got to, write alongside Alan Jackson, and do stuff with Ricky Skaggs, and do stuff with Chris Christopherson, and do stuff with Glenn, and get stuff played with like Bruce Hornsby, and get heard by Whitney Houston and all those things. And one of the things that I got to do, Glenn had a Branson show, and the guy who choreographed the Branson show was actually a male understudy on Sunset Boulevard, and he had always wanted to try to create a musical. So Glenn flew me to New York City. And I got to stay, it was like I got to stay in this hotel that was like right off of Times Square.
Oh, nice.
And work with this cat. Created a musical. Wrote songs for a musical, and it's like it never got anywhere because he couldn't get all of the funding and all of those things. But it was fun to do. Well, at this time I'm a Southerner, okay. And I'm a Southerner anyway because I'm a born kid. That's where it is. So,
yeah.
but one of the things about being a Southerner is we talk slow. Okay?
Yeah.
And so in New York, they ain't got time to talk slow. It's a push. Because what? God, what are you doing? That's where a lot of the sarcasm comes in. It's like the bitey attitude is that people haven't got time to listen to you, you know.
Yeah.
So I go into some fast food restaurant or something. I get off the train, I get out, go to the fast food restaurant, and I'm looking for lunch. And so, you know, so I said, I can't remember what I asked for. I said, the cheeseburgers. And the guy said, do you, and the lady said, you want fries with that? And I went, I want, what? I want fries with, I want, what? What do you, do you want fries with that? And I said, ma'am, you have to forgive me because I'm an old Southerner and I do not know what you're talking about. And so the thing that happened was that I realized she was getting pissed at me. And so this kind of, the only way I can say it is this kind of big, angry Puerto Rican attitude started. This neck started flapping from shoulder to shoulder. And she goes, do you want fries with that? And I went, no, thank you, ma'am, but you actually just named my publishing company. And she looked at me like I was the biggest ass on the planet. But that was actually how Do You Want Fries With That music came about.
That is a great story, man. That is amazing.
Stupid, ain't it?
It is, but it's fun, and that's what
it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the greatness of it. All right, so
well,
can
the
you?
crazy thing is actually because when you create a company, the one thing you have to do is because you have to register it with the PROs, with ASCAP or BMI, and I was and my performing rights organization is ASCAP. So the thing is when you start a publishing company, they tell you need to have 5 or 6 names because every name on the planet has been used at least once. You know, so when people come up with this stuff and they go, no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said, so I can't, I'm going to have to just have, I'm going to spell it for you. And she went, oh, great. Okay, what? I went, J-U, yeah, W-A-N, yeah, F-R-Y-Z, yeah, W-I, D-A-T, okay, question mark. And she said, what? I said, just question mark. All right. So I said, just read that out. And she did. She goes, do you want fries with that music? And I said, do you need another name? And she said, no.
Yeah, it took me a good couple minutes to realize what it said. And I'm sitting here in my studio trying to sound this out. I'm like hooked on phonics, and I'm 26 years old, man. And it's outrageous. All right,
it's
man.
Like, this is the English teacher's nightmare from now on.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so can you tell me about Dirty Little Secret?
Dirty Little Secret was from actually it was the last album that I had done in Nashville. It was co-produced with a dear man that I've known for a lot of years, Kevin Ray Lawson. I had done my first really kind of major independent thing was a thing called Unseen Child that was done with Kevin back in the late 90s. And it had been a time, and I kind of felt like it was time for me to do something new. And by this time, I had moved away from a lot of the Christian thing, and so I was doing more pop and the pop jazz or the pop indie kind of thing that's been a little bit of what Fresh Takes is about.
Yeah.
So Dirty Little Secret is the first thing that was kind of this new Geoff Thurman identity, if you will.
Okay.
It is kind of a Maroon 5 meets Dave Matthews mentality, with a lot of different guitar lines that go through. But the one thing that had always been in that period of time in my own life, one of the things that was always kind of the Geoff Thurman signature was the background vocals. So the cool thing about that, at the back end of Dirty Little Secret, there's this kind of thing where there's this basically kind of 3 different choirs that are going off.
Oh, wow.
All at the same time. Well, the thing is, I'm doing all of it. Back in the day, because when I did all of my demos, I did all of the demos really, really cheaply, and that was actually kind of a blessing because I could come in. I did a lot of stuff via MIDI, and then anything that wasn't MIDI I played, and then any of the vocals and stuff, I did everything. So I was, this cheap ass dude. You didn't have to pay the musician because I was the musician.
Yeah, I got you.
And that saved a lot of publishing companies a lot of money. That was, it was like, man, you're such a genius. It's like, no, I'm just saving you bucks, man. That's all it is. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest. That's the representation of kind of the, if you will, the transition between what was and what is, and the biggest connection between the both of them is the fact that this background vocal arrangement is the way that I heard things a lot.
All right, well, this is the Dirty Little Secret.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I had a dirty little secret. There was a hole in my heart. Love flowed, though I just couldn't keep it. Slowly tore me apart. I hid my dirty little secret, scared that someone might see. I cried, though I just couldn't speak it. Take this secret from me. Then I went down, down, down in the river of life. I went to drown, drown, drown in the river of life. I threw my dirty little secret as far as these eyes could see. As far as I knew that I would never need it. It had no hold over me. Yeah, and I went down, down, down to the river of life. I went to drown, drown, drown in the river of life to watch this water fill my wonder, throw me about and pull me under, turn me loose and let me fly. Get what I need to survive in the river of I went to drown, drown, drown in the river of I had a dirty little secret. Then I went down, down, down to the river of life. I went to drown, drown, drown in the river of life. I went to drown, drown, drown in the river of life. Yeah. I went to drown, drown, drown in the river. And I've been going down. I'm not gonna drown in the river of I have.
That was Dirty Little Secret. All right, so Geoff, so what are your plans for the band going on in the future?
Well, Andrew, I think the biggest thing right now is that we're just trying to solidify ourselves, and now we've got we've got a project which is really ours.
Yeah.
And we've got merchandising, so we've got stuff to sell. We're trying to get booked. I tell you, we are in need of places to play, and
Yeah.
and the thing is, it's a great problem to have for this area. You have fantastic talent. You have not many venues.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of healthy little competition that goes on where people are trying to fight for the spots, and I get it, because that's a thing that happened back in the day before before the ruthless part of the music business kind of took over in Nashville, where we're all kind of we're pushing against one another to try to get the bookings. And okay, so Marie got that one, so good on you. Glad that happened. That kind of a bit. I think what we're trying to do is that we're trying to go outside the box, because we're not just about playing in Fresno. There are, if we just play the areas in Fresno, then we're going to have a short life.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to play up and down the coast. We want to play into, we'll do Vegas, we'll do anything. And even, if there's stuff that happens where we go farther than that, I think everybody's really cool for doing that. So we're trying to, now that we have this record, kind of get it out, get people buying, get the spin on it. We really need to still raise some funds in order to pay for the rest of the stuff. So, like I said before, www.gofundme.com/Geoff-Thurman-band, and just pre-order the project, and just drop me a line as to whether there's a little thing where you leave a note. Let me know if you want a CD or if you want the DVD,
Okay.
and go on from there, and just talk about us, and let the venues around the area know where you want us to be, where we can come and do this thing, because it's all nice and well and good to have the thing, but we can't do anything if we can't go out and play.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's it's the ball player that has the greatest pitch or the greatest home run swing or anything else ain't worth a damn if he can't get out on the field. And so that's what we're trying to do now. Is we intentionally did not start booking a bunch of stuff because we wanted to focus on getting this thing right, and we have, and it has exceeded all of our expectations. And so now we got to get out there and go get this thing sold and distributed and yada yada yada. So that's the goal now.
All right, and if somebody does hear this and want to book you, what is your Facebook? Any other websites? Possibly even an email to get to you?
Yeah. The email, easiest email is Geoff@GeoffThurman.net. So GeoffThurman.net.
Okay.
And that's at the website too. You can actually go to the website and hit the contact thing, and I'll get those messages there too. Facebook, the band thing is Geoff Thurman Music, or I've got my own personal Facebook page too. So Geoff Thurman. Twitter is G Thurman Songs.
Okay.
That's a possibility. We're also, there's honestly, and I say this all the time. People think it's a joke, but it's not. You can Google Geoff Thurman and you can find me.
I did. I did. I'm not gonna lie.
We have a witness.
Yeah, Google helps. It
Yeah,
does wonders for a person. And first up was your website, which I am currently on right now, and
Awesome.
secondly was, I believe, the band's Facebook, and then
Very
thirdly
cool.
was yours.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way and the best way to get a hold. And then I can establish contact with you and get your phone numbers, and we can go on from there and all that.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for your time and for coming onto the show and talking about your band. I am really looking forward to see what you guys will be doing in the future. Believe me, if I hear of any rumblings of bookings, I'll throw your name into the hat. And
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that.
hey,
greatly.
man, you don't need to thank me. You guys seem to be busting your humps doing this, and it's really cool to see that there's music that's not of a genre that's popular here in California right now. In Tulare, Visalia area, it's mostly metalcore and those really, really heavy screaming kind of vocals and stuff like that. And it's really nice to see a difference of opinion, if you will. And, it's inspiring because we can't grow as musicians with just one genre. And
you're right.
You're
absolutely right. Yeah.
It's very nice to see that. So
appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. And I really hope to talk to you again when the album comes out and when you guys are done and wrapping up. Hopefully we can talk about some show experiences that you are currently experiencing. And, thank you so much. It's been a blast, man.
My pleasure, Andrew. Hey, man, thanks so much. And kudos for doing this. This awesome podcast. And I love just the fact that there's ways that the local musicians are starting to get props and everything. So kudos on doing that. Just tons of success to you.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I'll talk to you next time. All right, brother?
You take it easy.
All right, man. Later. And that was Geoff Thurman from the Geoff Thurman Band. And his new CD will be called The Geoff Thurman Experience. Actually, it's called Fresh Cuts. Contact him. See what you can do to get your pre-order in, or an order of the CD, or just hand him your money. People still do that, right? It was very fun to talk to Geoff. Very cool of him to come onto the show and talk to me about all of his band experience and his music experience and just the little jokes he had and everything like that. As of April 6th, his CD has not been released, so there's still a chance that you might be able to get a pre-order in, but you have to contact him to get the information. All you have to do is go to Facebook and look for Geoff Thurman or the Geoff Thurman Band, or you can go on to Google and Google him, and I promise you, he's right there at the top of the list, because that's the way to do it. It needs to be stated again that Fresh Cuts was recorded live. It's a live CD and a live DVD, and it was recorded live in a winery in Fresno, California. So go check that stuff out. Get a hold of Geoff. When you do, tell him you heard his interview here at the Local Music Revolution, and all is right in the world. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for all the support. Please remember to continue to rate, comment, subscribe, and add the Local Music Revolution at thelocalmusicrevolution.wordpress.com and facebook.com/thelocalmusicrevolution. Don't forget to go to iTunes, into the portion of the store for podcasts, and search for the Local Music Revolution. Subscribe on iTunes, comment on iTunes, and get our iTunes rankings up, because that's awesome. If you are a musician, an actor, a director, or an artist, or even somebody with similar talents, I would really like to talk to you and get you on my show. So please email me at thelocalmusicrevolution@gmail.com, and we'll get the process started to get you on the show. Until next time, this is the Local Music Revolution. I am Ogre. You are my audience. Take care and be good, everyone.